what you want. And
welcome back. No Means Nerds, episode 25 of No Means No Thing. No means nothing. You choose.
Hi there.
Those are your co-hosts as you're sitting around this imaginary fire with us, swinging our big dicks, talking about this song. Is this song? I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about anymore. That's off to a great start. These songs, we're really glad you've decided to join us again. We've got a great episode. I hope. I guess time will tell. Speaking of time, there's a lot of that in this one. Again, that crazy machine has served us up some really relevant pairings. You might start to accuse us of having engineered this kind of shit on purpose. It's not true. It's all an accident. But anyway,
we're a ghost in the machine. That's all.
That's exactly right.
Right.
Oh, can't wait till that comes up. Anyway, as if we need introduction at this point, but I'm Jordan.
I'm Matthew. Hi.
I'm Michelle. Hello. Hello there. Hi there.
And you are our dear listeners. So thank you again for joining us. And we are about to beak our wets. Yes, we're going to beak our wets. Jesus. And I'm going to beak my. It's going to be a great episode for me. I'm going to be very coherent. I've got my Armagnac, which I'm now going to take a sip of to shut myself up. Michelle, what you got?
I found this in the back of the fridge. It's probably my housemate's, but I'm going to drink it anyways because it's been that back there for a while. Listen to this description. A deliciously creamy stout in the Irish tradition with its rich tan head intact. This deep and dark colored beer has the aroma and flavor of chocolate, roasted oats, and coffee with coffee, all derived from the specialty malts used in the brewing process. Now, what kind of beer does that sound like?
A fancy one.
It sounds
beer
like,
I want to have sex
sounds
with?
like
I don't know.
Guinness is what it sounds like.
It does sound like
so
Guinness.
I'm gonna have one in the
But without the widget.
Without the widget.
Can you give me some widget Foley? Thank you.
Oh. All right.
She's sniffing it.
I'm smelling it.
It's in a Guinness glass, so that gives you some of that placebo
yes, I
effect.
had to have a little bit of the street cred there with the Guinness glass.
Yeah. All right, Matthew, what journey are you going to take us on today?
Well, I did actually pull out two, but I think I'm going to have to just limit it to one for various reasons, because I know it's good. Again, my friend Fader got this one for me last Friday randomly. He was going on a beer run, and I asked him to get me a fancy beer so that I wouldn't drink too much of the generic lager that's available at work on Fridays. And he got me this one, and I happened to have already bought it, and it was in, and I've already mentioned it on the podcast. But the reason I want to do this one, the Dagorad 6 Degrees. It's a Burnaby brewery, but they really focus, and they're extremely nerdy about, these are all Belgian-style beers.
Oh, sweet.
And I just figured, because there is some subject matter about the lowlands in tonight's episode.
That's a good choice. That'd be a good choice.
Probably, Belgian. And we'll go with the Belgian one. It's a lacto-fermented Abbey-style double with Montmorency cherries.
Sounds like the place to be, as it were.
With what kind of cherries?
Montmorency.
That's some sexual cherries. More my receipt.
Oh, Lord.
I'm so ignorant, man. I am so ignorant.
No, it's somewhere between a stout and an Armagnac, I think. It's like,
there you go.
Belgian,
We've got
that might be our
rainbow
official beer.
Of booze. There you go.
Oh, it's really good. I had one on Friday. It's fantastic.
Oh, nice. Oh, good. So we don't have to. You don't have to guess it. He's taking a swig, and we are
right
baptized.
out of the bottle.
So I hope you out there have something good to drink as well. Again, drink it wherever you are, unless you're driving, in which case just pull up that coffee mug, whatever you got. But
all right.
Let's all buckle in. We've got a good one. I don't think anything too contentious this time. It's another one where the gods have been a little kind to us, but we'll see.
But interesting.
We'll see about that.
Interesting.
It is interesting. Yeah, that's my catchphrase, right? An interesting set of matchups. Mm-hmm. Some good songs. So I think without any further ado, let's dive into this shit. We've got our first pairing tonight.
How about further a don't?
Okay, without further ado, we've got Paradise off of Sex Mad, 1986. And then Under the Sea off of One from 2000. Look at that. Never would have paired that up myself.
Minor correction. Paradise is off.
It's
of You
not
Kill
Sex
Me.
Mad, it's You Kill Me. I was just going to say, like, I think maybe actually that was what You Kill Me. It's off the Sex Mad CD, okay?
Correct,
so,
yes.
you know, yes. Thank you for
Right.
that, actually, because I do know that I was incorrect.
What a snoop.
And now I've killed myself. I'm fixing my notes. You Kill Me, 1986.
Oh, this isn't bad.
Oh, good. Well, it looks like a Guinness from here.
Yeah,
So
it's not
anyway,
it is good. I like it.
this week, Matthew gets to go up first. Michelle will be our monkey in the middle, our Lucky Pierre, and I will play cleanup on these two songs. So let's real quick take a dip into Paradise, hear a little bit, and then hear what Matthew has to say about it. All right, Matthew, take us to Paradise.
Well, it's a fantastic song. One of my teenage favorites, absolutely, because it's got this whole ska part, and I was super into punk ska. There was a really good punk ska scene around in Victoria around the same time that I was getting into NoMeansNo. I don't know, about 16, 17 years old. There was Pressure Cooker and all kinds of fun bands to go and jump around to. And so yeah, it's like a little bit of a lighter hearted NoMeansNo thing. And you know, honestly, we last week or last episode we talked about Victoria, and it sort of reveals some of their feelings about Victoria, but I think this is also an ode to Victoria, because of, you know, this is no paradise, and everybody talks about how beautiful Victoria is all the time. But then the only lyrics to speak of is sort of like what's going on, and then there's just Andy in the left channel.
Yeah. Oh, this
Just
is great.
going on about stuff in the most bored voice. I was born with the help of my mother,
Of my
and
mother
the doctor.
and the doctor. But I'm not born again.
And then he talks about this boring ass job, and we'll have to ask him, because I'm gonna sort of put myself out here and see if I can guess. It's either at Woodward's or at Woolco, neither of which exist anymore.
Those are department stores, right? Because I think like he was.
He says I worked in a department store in a shopping mall. No, doing paint, selling paint is what he says in the. Yeah, to dorks every day. I deal with dorks.
Every day.
Every day. That's so good.
So great.
That's hilarious.
So much of that sort of tongue-in-cheek humor that this is how I felt in Victoria. So it was like this boring kind of mundane existence, and then going and jumping around to something every so often. Yeah, it's what's going on. It's only what you make going on is what's going on in Victoria at that time. So I don't know, sort of like an upside and a downside. And I don't know. There's so many of my favorite things, like, oh, ha ha ha. So much these little interjections that they do at the end. It's incredibly tight, of course, musicianship. I didn't write a lot about the music itself, except like even there's a little bit of a like ska sound at one point.
Made with an instrument or
No. Just the one that
somebody's
ska
voice?
people do with their voices. Yeah. So I don't think it's particularly like anti-ska, because people got very anti-ska after all of that.
What?
But I don't know. Sure.
How can you be anti-ska? It's like giving the band nerds a chance to be in a cool punk band.
That is a good way of
Good
looking
point.
at it.
That's
exactly.
Fucking A, it
great
is.
way to
Yeah.
put it.
Yeah.
I love that. That's fantastic.
Come on.
Yeah. Anyway, not much to say except that it's just a favorite, and it makes me remember being a NoMeansNo fan when in my teens.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wicked.
All right.
Just like so Victoria.
Absolutely.
Wow.
A good one to come off of last week's episode, right? Like it's great to kind of, it's a trilogy almost.
Oh yeah,
Or-
and the staccato, a little bit more staccato ending, and then the little piano bit at the very, very end.
Yeah.
So much skill and so much humor, and like bored and totally amped up at the same time. It's like
Exactly.
quintessence.
Nice. All right, Michelle, how about you? What do you think of this one?
Well, you stole my thunder, Matthew, saying the lyrics, but I'm going to read it anyways because it's funny. Let's all say it together. I was born, all of us together. I was born in a hospital. I was born with the help of my mother and a doctor. Thanks, Matthew. Thanks for taking
That's okay.
part
I
in
got your
that.
back.
Jesus. All right. Grab every crunchy snack you've got and enjoy the taste and sound of it. This is a wicked cool, tremendous collage of attitude, humor, and spunk. One more example of the punk. They put the punk in spunk. I think the funniest thing is Andy's super bored, monotonous doldrums intertwined with the chaos going on in the back. Watching John tear this up would have just killed me, and I love that this song gives him both the straightforward grooves, but also plenty of spastic jazz opportunities to tear it up. There's another fantastic high-pitched squeal in there that welcomes in the more calmed ending. Rob's trill in there completely kills me and makes me smile because it's kind of dorky, too. You can faintly hear a piano at the very end, which is cool. A kick-ass song with tons to chew on.
Nice.
There was a line I wrote down when I liked it. I want to say it. That the bass
What it's
line,
saying? Come on, this fun.
the in the ska bit, it was a bass line like a muscular tentacle.
Oh wait, you cut out on my audio. What'd you say?
What?
A bass line like a what?
Like a muscular tentacle.
Does
Oh,
somebody
nice.
It's just like a
That's awesome.
sinuous, muscular tentacle of a bass line.
That's a good line. That's a good line.
bring it?
So I have to. I mean, I guess we're got to be honest on this podcast. Like, this is not a song I really, 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 really enjoyed listening to it this time around. This has been a song that for the majority of my time knowing NoMeansNo, I didn't give any fucking two shits or credence about it. It just skipped right over me. I don't know why. Like, there's just those songs. Plenty of them you both have breezed over that are some of my favorites, right? So it just happens. But this one I never gave the time of day to. As a matter of fact, the part that interested me the most always was wondering if anybody ever did send NoMeansNo thoughts, lyrics, and words because Andy asks them to, right? Like, if you have anything to say, just mail us at the post office box, care of the address on the back of this record. And I've wondered if they ever got anything from that. But everything you guys have said is absolutely right. I mean, I grew up in a super small town too. It was really podunk fucking town. And that feeling of just that crushing fucking boredom and crushing working at a stupid dead end job, just wanting to get the fuck out, can completely relate to that. And this song really captures that, along with, as you both pointed out, the energy that's sort of really great. This is just a really fun punk energy in this song.
It's got a punky kind of feel to it.
Absolutely. You can dance to it or pogo to it. It's with giant shoes. And I love the music. I love the energy behind it. I love the monotony. I love the humor. I like it much more now than I think I used to. And I clearly was an idiot for never giving it the credence that it deserved. It also, as we've talked about with other songs, for me probably suffered in being the last song. Like, I was so exhausted. I was usually so exhausted by the time I got to this one. And this one is in a bit, it's kind of them taking the piss in a little bit. So I wasn't drawn into taking it
it's
seriously.
great. Yeah.
No, it is. But by the end of an album full of shit that I really had to give my attention to, my attention was kind of like, whatever. I don't have to pay attention to it. So isolating it and just listening to it on its own did me good. And certainly made me appreciate this and not write it off, because I think it used to be a song I kind of wrote off. It's like, that's not really a song. It's got music, it's got some words, but it doesn't really feel like a song. But boy, was I wrong. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm admitting I was wrong.
No,
I was wrong, because it's a.
Please let me make faces, because thank you.
I've certainly have done that to you before.
I know.
Yeah, right. So, but I'm repenting. I'm here begging forgiveness in front of everybody, because I was wrong. I was wrong. This song is a banger, and the musicianship is fucking crazy and always good. As we have another one in this mix later that's completely humorous. It's always great to hear them really bust out and just super lean into being goofballs. They strike me as just genuine good goofballs, and you can really hear it in this song. So it's great. I love it now. I love it. I think it's a fantastic song. I don't think I have any other notes about it. Not a whole lot to say about this one, but thumbs up. All right.
I'm glad you've seen the light, young man.
I have seen the light. All right. So let's move on to a completely different song tonally, Under the Sea. And we're going to dip our toes into this one just a little bit. Everyone hold your breath. Here comes a little.
Comrade, are we still alive? Yes, the righteous will abide. Comrade, must we stand alone? Does cold rain fall on hard stone? Beneath the blood, no one survives. Build a wall and stay alive. Hard work and honesty. The lowland is the place to be. We're under the sea. We're under the sea. Sail on, look for me. I'm floating under the sea. Comrade, do you hear the sound of water dripping on wet ground? Comrade,
All right, Matthew, dive.
When I'm always looking for patterns in the pairings that the terrible machine serves up to us.
Oh,
because the second
interesting.
one's like, and I was disappointed and unfortunate, because I'm like, oh, Paradise and Under the Sea. That was familiar. And then I looked it up, and I thought it was the name of the prom in the Back to the Future, but it's actually Enchantment Under the Sea. I was
No, it's
disappointed.
close. That's
It's
close.
You dorks.
They do both sound like prom themes, though. I mean, come on. So I gotta give you that, even if it's not
Sure.
exact. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a song about the Dutch.
Is it?
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they
Well-
refer to a lot of Dutchy things. Talk about the. Let me see if I can.
They passed the Dutchie?
I like stars above the Zoud.
The Zouder Z.
Yeah. How do you. Zouderzee is. It's more like that. Zouder. That's one of those weird
Jeez.
Dutch
Christ.
diphthongs. So the Zouderzee was. Inland sea, and they filled it in, lived on it. Now it's the province of Flevoland. Good job, guys. I don't know
I have
if
no
there's a lot
fucking
of
idea what you're talking about. This is
underneath.
great. Hey, educate me.
The whole thing that people know about the Netherlands is, I mean, the name Netherlands, under the sea. They're down there. They're below the sea level, and my father-in-law's Dutch, and I sort of have a little bit of experience with some Dutchness, and I have a feeling, the whole thing about holding back the sea and then fucking living in it, it's just testament to how fucking stubborn those fuckers are. And I know we have a lot. I know we have a lot of Dutch listeners. They're not going to disagree with me.
No, they'll be first in line, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. Fucking just fucking.
Hey, man.
How, like, we'll build a wall and stay alive. Okay, yeah. good job, dudes. Like,
Hey, they're doing better than some places. Come on now.
King Canute, like that famous thing about the power of kings is nothing compared to the power of God. As the tide rose around his ankles, the Dutch are like, yeah, no, fuck that, building a lot of dikes, and then we're not only going to just like, farm there, going to live there. Flevoland has like 500,000 people. On the shores of the IJsselmeer. Anyway, it's kind of a timely one as well to be come up with this flooding that's going on in BC. There's Chilliwack, we referred to in the last with the Sasquatch Stout from last episode. There was a lake and they drained it, and they it's a lake again.
Did you get that bridge fixed?
It's still so fucked up out there, and I feel so bad.
Oh man, everybody's hoarding things too. I hear.
No,
I read.
They got the military in there building a dike.
Jesus Christ!
Keep the river in where the river normally is, rather than where it wants to be. Anyway, that's this is no one here nor there. Talk about the song some more. How about that? Sung lyrics instead of spoken. I kind of like the sail on, look for me. Sung lyrics as opposed to the spoken of the rest. It's like kind of flying over the flatland, flying over the flatness that is Holland. I don't know. There's sort of metaphorical stuff that the Dutch. They also have a very good sense of humor in my experience, but I mean maybe that's it's rich country, powerful country, very precarious country, like physically. That's gotta like stress you out on a like cultural level that we're keeping the ocean out. The ocean's pretty strong, dudes. Like, and at the end of the song, comrades, what's that sound? Like, the water starts to come in and the music gets all chaotic. The guitar goes up several octaves, just like the water would be rising up. Screaming guitar over the orderly marching section from the start, which is pretty cool. Eventually, that stress gets to you. Eventually, the sea will rise, and it'll get to you too. I don't know. Most of the Netherlands, it seems like they're just operating in the red all the time. Like, what else? Oh, I noticed. The sail on, look for me. Sail on sounds a lot like the Dutch pronunciation of their southernmost province, Zeeland.
Wow!
Wow!
Nice.
Sealand, literally, but it's like it's the southernmost. There's a bunch of fucking peninsulas and stuff, and most of it's underwater or water. So maybe it's his little acknowledgement to that old Zealand, because that's the Zealand that New Zealand was named after. Sail on.
I feel like I'm in geography class here.
Yeah, well, why not? It's a song about
Why
geography.
Of all their songs, this is the most geographically oriented that I can think of, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot of, unless you guys can think of. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts. I think it's pretty basic. It's about like some stubborn fucking people that decided to live in a very difficult place. I don't have a lot of. They lost a member to the Netherlands, so maybe they have a lot of respect for those people. I know they would always play in Groningen all the time, and we have a bunch of Dutch listeners, and they're probably laughing at my pronunciation. But you know what?
At least you're trying. You're trying. It's more than Michelle and I will do.
I can't even take part in this. I don't even know. I couldn't even find it. No, of course I know where it is on the map, but these little peninsulas you're talking about, I don't know shit.
Well,
I don't know shit.
That's about it. Not one that really stands out to me all that much somehow, but kind of a fun little appreciate the Dutch song.
Yeah. All right, Michelle, what about you?
Okay, I'm wondering if I listened to the right song, because I'm going to tell you what I. Well, no, I'm serious. I'm going to tell you what I wrote, and then please tell me if you agree that you heard this too. Because I'm surprised you didn't mention this one thing, Matthew, because you and me both like the drum set and those crash cymbals. That's coming later in my thing, but you didn't even talk about Those fucking crash cymbals John's playing in there.
It's so complex at the end. You're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. All right. So I do this. Okay, look.
Yeah, you heard the right one.
This music is totally cool and interesting to me. It sounds like an army trouncing through the street, getting ready to take over a place and not giving a fuck. Now that's obviously a bit different from what Matthew was talking about.
No, it isn't.
But that
It's not really. That's
It's just
very.
the
I
ocean.
think that's right on track. Yeah.
I guess so. That's what the music sounds like to me. I love the way Rob's bass sounds in this. It's so menacing and cool. Tom's guitar work is great in this too, and I really like listening to him stomping along with the rhythm section. John uses these cool crash cymbals to great effect in this, and it's a treat to hear. I love the sound of the floor toms that seem to have a flanger effect on them. It's probably in the middle to the middle end of the piece. This is probably one of my favorite songs on this record because I love my pissed off, NoMeansNo, full of snot and tearing up the room with snarly attitude. The ending of this song is really cool, and this would be another piece that I think would be great in a movie. It's killer and awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, buckle up. I've got 8 pages in it. No, I'm kidding. I don't.
Whoa!
I don't.
Jesus Christ.
Unfortunately, I think, you both have said a lot of what I want to say. Let me take a look at my notes here for a minute. But I really like this song. I think it's
cool.
What a thundering song about the Netherlands, right? And frankly, here's a stupid Americanism, right? What we get raised on when we hear about the Netherlands when we're kids is just a little boy with his finger in the fucking dike, right? That's it. Don't teach that in school. Don't teach that dumb story. Teach this song. Put this song on.
What are you talking about?
The little kid who has his finger in the dike because it sprouts a leak and he's got to put his finger in the dike.
Windmills and those shoes.
Well, good for you. I thought of the goddamn little kid with his finger in the dike to prevent it from exploding.
Doesn't he have his finger in the pie? Am I getting shit
it's a
mixed up?
dike. Don't you know what
right.
I fucking...
I'm going to shut up.
Matthew,
No.
am I crazy? Anyway, maybe it's just an American thing.
No,
All
it's not.
I'm the stupid American.
So, but anyway, don't teach that anymore. Teach this song. This song's a great... I mean, I think this is probably the only... I don't know. This is a real outlier for NoMeansNo to sing a song, for them to write a song about a country. I mean, with their typical brilliant poeticism. Frankly, this beginning where you start to figure out what they're talking about by talking about sunken ships on dry land and just all these evocative images of what it must have been like to see the bottom of the fucking ocean as they were draining it and then think, you know what? Fuck this. We're going to make tulip beds here. Fuck you. See?
Yeah.
It's just, and I love the fact that, and this may be actually a translatable thing in that this would be what it translates to, but the use of the word comrade so much, which often the West will associate with communism, but to me just really, it's really this term that has this feeling of the subsuming of the individual into the collective. This idea that no, we're just a giant unit of a fucking country,
fellow worker, kind of
fellow worker, right? And the fact that he keeps using that to such great effect. And you both have talked about the music, had really good things to say about it. I love the fact that Rob, in particular, there's no syncopation. There's nothing. There's just these eighth notes, just ba 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 ba, just constantly this march of we're just industrious. It feels fucking industrious as fuck. Nothing is gonna stop us.
And dull eyes and shit.
It didn't feel dull to me as much. Just I pictured
dull eyes, just looking forward and marching.
Yeah, I pictured one of those old WVA murals that they posed. Of all the workers sort of gathering together to do a great work sort of thing. It's just fucking love that. And until at the end, as you pointed out, Matthew, that. What's that sound I hear? Is it water? Is it rushing water? And just makes me realize, as you talked about too, to live in a country where if you heard that sound, you're fucking done. You're done, right? What is it like to live in a country where, well, I guess we know now in our own way. But to have that constant threat of just, man, something fucking happens.
New Orleans.
Dynamite in the wrong place. New Orleans, right? But really fucking interesting. But I mean, I can't think of another song that's as specific about, well, there is no other NoMeansNo song that's specific about a place or a people or a geography.
Victoria
It's very
was.
Interesting. Well, Victoria, that's a good point. But that is a cover. That is a cover. So I'm going to exempt it.
Yep.
But there's all sorts of great lines in here, Rob, even when he's waxing lyrical about a country, things like, comrade, must we stand alone? Does cold rain fall on hard stone? Such a great way of saying fucking buckle up and just fucking deal with it, man. Yeah, we have to be alone. Just like what is fucking when it rains, it gets wet. Pull up your pants and shut the fuck up. There's all just these great lines of stoicism, of just hard work and honesty, right? Like these people do not fuck around, and you really get that sense. I love the line about are those tears I see like stars above the Zuiderzee, which is this. The Zuiderzee doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. So no, don't let me see you cry. You can't fucking cry. Crying doesn't exist anymore. Just like stars don't exist on the Zuiderzee anymore. They're fucking gone. They're banished. Get to work. Do your fucking shit. Because we gotta
What's
fucking
the
make
Zuiderzee?
So the Zuiderzee is that inlet that Matthew was talking about that doesn't exist anymore because they dammed it off, and now it's a bunch of land that people live on. So to say stars upon the Zuiderzee, reflecting upon the Zuiderzee, you can't see that anymore. It doesn't exist.
See the reflection.
So you can't see my tears, can't see the stars, right? Like his weird little pairings of lyrics are beautiful, right? I mean, I don't know, man. Rob as a lyricist just never ceases to fucking blow me away. And I love the musicianship in this. The bassist, and to your point, Michelle, I think a lot of one really shines in his bass tone, but this song, the bass tone is so good. It's so good.
So farty.
I do feel, I always wished the ending even let loose a little bit more. It's one of those songs where I always it gets turned up to 9 and I wanted it to go to 11, but I almost enjoy that tension of like, it's not quite getting me off, but it's so close. It's like edging. It's an edging of a NoMeansNo ending. But I really love the musicianship. I think the lyrics are really poetic and great. I always did too wonder if this was a little bit of a song for Andy or just the Netherlands in general. I'm sure they enjoyed playing there, but it's so specific about one country. Like, why the fuck? I mean, I guess they did name one of their albums off of a famous German exit sign, but still, this is one of the most site-specific songs I can think of.
Where's your Slovenia song, guys?
Yeah, right.
Slovenia.
Where the fuck? Okay. Let's go. Out of retirement. So I love it. I think it's not my favorite song on one by a long stretch, but it's
a good one though.
Really
I think it's cool.
Oh,
it's
I love this song. It is stompy, and the bass line and the tone, the production. I'd say the production on this whole album is fucking amazing, but you really get to hear it here. So, thumbs up. I love it. It's got a good beat. You could dance to it. All right. Well, Jesus, this is a record.
It really did make me think about, because of a connection with Dutch people and everything like that. What you were saying before, it's like they did something crazy, damned the ocean and like lived it, because it's like that somebody told them they couldn't do it,
right?
But what will motivate a Dutchie to do something fucking difficult?
Tell them they can't do it.
Tell them they shouldn't.
They shouldn't.
Oh.
Yep.
Looking forward to all the replies of this one, I'll tell you.
So I think in a new record, we've actually just hit 30 minutes for our first pairing. This is a new fucking record, which in terms of not going on forever and ever and ever. So
you mean this was quick?
This was quick.
Oh,
let's do a vote. And Matthew, between Paradise and Under the Sea, where are you going?
It's got to be Paradise for me.
By the dashboard light.
Yeah, because it still makes me want to jump around.
Michelle, how about you?
I'm voting Paradise by the dashboard light too. However, I'm giving a big thumbs up to Under the Sun, man. I think it's chonky and cool, but I'm voting Paradise.
It's actually Under the Sea, but we won't dock you for your.
What did I say? Under the Sun.
Under the Sun.
Oh, you know what? It's the way I wrote it. It's my handwriting. I can't even Under the Sea. I can't read my handwriting. Under the Sea's cool.
So I'm incredibly glad that Paradise is going through. I'm going to give my vote to Under the Sea because I want one to have some votes. And frankly, prior to my having listened to Paradise a lot for this round, I would have given it to Under the Sea in a minute because I just never took Paradise seriously. However, had both of you not voted for it for some reason, I might have had a different vote. So I feel safe giving it to Under the Sea. But I really like it. And I really like these long Rob epics.
Yeah.
So
no, it's cool.
I'm throwing that in because I can do it safely.
Thank you for your support.
But Paradise Going to Paradise Under the Sea is being sunk to the bottom, unfortunately, and we are going to
SpongeBob's down there.
Yep, SpongeBob and Patrick.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we're going to dip over to a listener submission. Mm-hmm. But sounds like Matthew had something to say here.
You have
Real quick.
to pee or something?
No, I don't. But we're doing a SpongeBob thing at work. We have to build.
What?
It's like some sort of musical. And today, I had to take delivery of like 300 pool noodles. They're going to make a big like beaded curtain out of pool noodles. And the other day, I had to calculate the volume for storage of like 600 pool noodles.
Oh my God.
That's what I had to use math to do.
That is some fantastic math you got there. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Anyway.
Where did you get all those at this time of year? My God.
I know, that's the thing. I don't even know how they're tracking them down. It's anyway.
That's a
Throwing
order.
it from everybody's pool.
So we're gonna have a listener submission, but I want to remind everyone for the second week running now here, and this will be a ongoing thing. I hope I'm gonna let you know the phone number where you can call us to
No pranks.
answer us our questions 3. What does no means no mean to you? How did you encounter no means no? And a no means no story if you got one. Or if you don't want to do any of that and you just want to call up and yell at us or say nice things or tell us why we were wrong or right about a particular pick, whatever you want. Much like Andy in Paradise, who says, I'm running out of things to say. If you can think of anything to say, leave something at the post office box at the back of the record. Well, now we have a phone number instead. So do that. And it is area code 415-493-8630. You know what I'm going to need to add on to that? Because I don't know dick all about this.
You're
I don't know
going
what
to
my
add don't drink
code.
and dial.
Country code.
Yeah, there you go.
1.
No, please. Oh, country code 1. Because we're number 1 in the US.
And we in Canada are also number 1.
Yeah. But you were number 1 second. So, let's not.
Whatever.
Hey, let's just.
Code.
Hey.
The country code is also 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just.
Have you given
All
me
right.
the hand?
No, I was giving it to him. So, listener submission this week is going to be read by Brother Matthew. Matthew, you want to read David's submission for us?
Okay, we've got a submission from David Luscious. Lichius. I don't know how to pronounce that, but hopefully he'll correct us. Lich is a D&D monster, and it's also Scandinavian for dead body, because I watch a lot of noir. So he's a dead body. Yes, David,
he's a dead
soul. Body. Yes, yeah. If you grew up in early 1980s, the advent of the dual cassette recorder was an absolute boon when it came to discovering new music. From a utilitarian perspective, you could fit a lot of fucking songs on a 90-minute cassette tape. So it was around 1990 that I got one from my childhood best friend. It had Dark Ages on one side and Beauty and the Beast on the other. I've never looked back. The same friend was the most instrumental person in my discovery of largely underground rock. Minor Threat, Fugazi, The Dead Milkmen, oh yeah, Violent Femmes, and Dead Kennedys were my first favorite bands. However, it was Jello Biafra's Alternative Tentacles label that was most vital when it came to new bands and music. Being on a soon-to-be iconic and infamous vocalist's record label was a very good thing. Guilt by association absolutely led to sales of records from bands you wouldn't have purchased otherwise. Alice, Donut, DOA, Victim's Family, and others would not have come to my attention that easily if not for Alternative Tentacles. Mm-hmm. As one's tastes change and evolve through the years, a stridently political and blunt band like like DOA is what he said, might fall to the bottom of the box and soon find its way to one's sell pile. NoMeansNo are a band that's never gone away. The first NoMeansNo CD I purchased was Live and Cuddly. My mentality in buying a live record before the studio albums is that it too was a mixtape that went with only one band during the duration. I listened to that disc over and over. For a year or two, I even mixed up the speaking voices of Rob Wright and the then anonymous Andy Kerr. And because it was the early 90s, the photo of John Wright on the back cover was the only photo I had of the band for a year or two.
Oh, see,
Same.
I get that. I totally get
same.
that. God, who are these fucking guys?
Yep.
God.
Nerds. Catching the band live? Nope. First, it was because I was under 18. Then it was lack of car ownership. Then I had to wait for the boys to come through town. For 4 years, I was studying in Lawrence, Kansas. I saw Alice Donut again. I saw DOA. I remember Joey Shithead was wearing jogging shoes on stage. Serious rockers never wore sports stuff on stage, man. I even went to a Marathon Jello Biafra spoken word performance. I waited, but there was no means no. All this time, I worried that the band would break up before I saw them. I had the bandwidth in those days to worry about shit like that. The wait ended in 1999 with NoMeansNo with Unsane and Royal Grand Prix at a coffee house, read warehouse, in a suburb outside of Kansas City, Missouri.
Wow.
Or Missouri. The crappy part was I had to leave early for a job, so that sucked. My first unimpeded show was in March 2001 at the Creepy Crawl in St. Louis. The adrenaline from that show lasted for hours. I'm sure I had a stupid smile on my face for longer than that. I was also deaf for a few days afterwards. Good fucking times. My story isn't really a story, more of an anecdote, a piece of shit trivia from my punk rock memoirs. My final NoMeansNo show was at the Record Bar in Kansas City, Missouri. It was 2011-ish. I am nearing my 40s. I made a point to stand close, but not close enough to have to worry about any rogue knees or elbows. However, near the end of the set, minimum safe distance wasn't safe enough, and I was body checked to the floor. My glasses flew off my head and were stepped on. I was so pissed. At a NoMeansNo show? Really? I left early. I had to drive home with one hand on the steering wheel and one hand holding the remainder of my spectacles in the other. In 30 years of going to shows, it was the only time I broke my glasses during a concert. Oh, well, there's always the next show. You always think there's going to be one more show. Sad trombone.
Wah, wah.
So, yeah, when he sent this in, I'm like, yes, totally. Somebody fucking gets it. The bespectacled fellow at the show, which I was at the time, you don't want those fucking elbows. You don't want to go anywhere near it. It fucking fucks with your enjoyment of the show. So fuck all y'all who think that it's fun to throw elbows.
No shit. My experience of shows from when I first started seeing them in the early 90s to late in the 2012, whatever,
everybody's
was
getting
so
older.
different. I was in the fucking pit at the beginning, and in that last one, I was like off the going like, you goddamn kids, settle down. You're too crazy. Back in my day. Oh, I was doing that shit.
Even Rob was like that too. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, he's
play
got more
my
pissed
show,
as they
Jesus
went on.
Christ.
Exactly. Just trying to play some music. Fucking
God damn it.
Cool your tits. God damn it.
So thank you so much, David Deadbody ES, for your submission.
Absolutely. Thank you.
It was fantastic.
Excellent stuff. Really, I mean, seriously, hearing from all of you is a highlight for us. It's a bit of fuel to keep us going. So if you want us to keep doing this fucking thing, send in a word now and again. We love to hear it. Call us, write us, yell at us somehow. We'd love to hear it.
Okay.
And now we're going to give you some more of that sweet, sweet juice to yell at. For my mind now, so I was a little bit not reticent, but I didn't have a lot to say on these first two songs. I realize that, but for better or worse, that's not going to be the case on the second round, where I've got
Going to get your Jordan fix.
Let's see. I'm on page 2 of my notes right now talking about these songs, and it's a 7-page thing. So we'll see where I get. Okay, a lot of that is...
Are you serious?
Yeah, a lot of that is Andy's corrections and that what we just read. That's not right. But anyway, all that said, I have a lot to say. That's too meta. Let me just tell you what the songs are, because you've waited long enough. We've got, to start, The Future is a Past, the secret song off All Roads Lead to Ausfahrt, 2006, versus, you know it, you love it, Now, off 0 + 2 = 1, 1991. And again, I know we've talked about this already off air or through Facebook Messenger. What a fucking pairing of all the songs to put up against each other. What a pairing. Yes, tonally very different, but two songs explicitly about the nature of time and our existence within it. So pretty fucking great. This week, I'm going to go first on this last round, but first, before we do that, we are going to dip a little bit into the past and pull up this song.
Time. What is time? Swiss manufactured, French hoarded, Italian squandered, Americans say it is money, Hindus say it does not exist. You know what I see? I see time is a crook.
I went out with my umbrella, it looked a little grim. The sky was black, the air was cold, the day was grey and dim. But as I strolled toward my goal, the sun burst through the clouds. I threw down my umbrella, and then I cried out loud, oh, the future is a past that hasn't happened yet. And everybody knows that what you see is what you get. But the movies in your mind is a place you cannot find. And if you see ahead, you are missing your behind. I drove out to the airport, I tried not to be late, but I was very nervous as I walked up to the gate. I dreamed I saw
All right,
an albatross.
the future is a past. Hopefully all of you have heard this. I don't think on the CD this is credited, right? Like they don't,
No.
it really was a secret song.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think
and
it's
so
another
I
track.
remember-
It's an extra track, but it's like, yeah, it takes like
Yeah, but
I don't
I-
know, a minute and a half to start.
No, it's 26. I looked exactly. It's 26 seconds in of silence.
Okay.
Nerd.
And then it kicks in. We've got this great Peter Lorre quote in the beginning from an old black and white film, Beat the Devil, which I've never seen and probably never will see. A great quote about time. Peter Lorre, who I only know from Bugs Bunny cartoons, who was often mocked in those early Bugs Bunny cartoons, which I also think is very appropriate because this whole song has a sort of Bugs Bunny feel, especially the whole sounds straight out of a fucking
Loved
Bugs Bunny
that.
cartoon. This is a incredibly unusual, very fun, and frankly, deceptively deep song in the No Means No canon. You can listen to this and think, that's a fucking lark. They are tearing apart the foundations of philosophy when you really listen to this song. This is Rob looking at you and going like, yeah, I can make a fuck you song that actually has a lot to fucking say. This guy is a master. Musically, I love this. It sounds like one of those characters who's got the bass drum strapped to his back and the cymbal on his head, and he's got a little organ.
Yeah.
Like, he's got like a hurdy-gurdy.
Yeah.
That's what it is. He's got like 100 instruments just going, and I love that feeling. The goofiness of the delivery, the goofiness of the music is just fantastic.
That could be a Showbiz Giants song.
It could be a Showbiz Giants song.
Yeah.
But underneath that, I think it's got a lot to say. So this is my interpretation of it anyway. You've got that first verse, and again, the reason I think it's a good pairing is I really feel like this, in part, is a real great song about our experience of being in time. And this, to me, has always been a deep, deep, deep obsession with me. I am very obsessed with the nature of time, done a lot of reading into it, a lot of thinking about what it means. It's one of these things we take for granted, and nobody actually understands it. It's not philosophers, not scientists. You may think they do. They really do not. It's a complete unknown. And at its root, even physicists do not agree as to what it is or what it means and why we experience it like we do. So, of course, No Means No is going to explore this topic better than any other artist that I've yet encountered. I'm sure there are many others who have, but I haven't found them. So that first verse, it starts in talking about, grabbing the umbrella, looking outside because it looks stormy, looks like a storm is brewing, so got to be prepared. You're going outside only to the sun to burst out on a glorious day. I don't need this umbrella. I'm going to throw it out. Fuck it. It's a glorious day. Okay, well, fun little verse. But really, this is setting up the idea that what do we do all the time? We look at current conditions and we try to predict into the future. We try to see what's going to happen by looking at what we see and using our logic to say, this is what the future is going to be. I better bring that umbrella. But guess what? It's often fucking wrong, and you just don't fucking know. Why? Because the future is a past that hasn't happened yet, right? We don't know what's going to happen in the future. It doesn't exist. It's not real yet. And by the time it is real, it's already past. It's already gone. The future is always just a past that hasn't happened, but we barely see it go before it's a fucking past. And what we see is what we get. It's what is in front of us right now is all that's real. But that's as more we'll see in the next song, it's a very
Exactly.
ephemeral fucking thing. And I love the line about the pictures in your mind is a place you cannot find.
Yeah.
The movies in your mind is a place you cannot find. This is a very deep idea, right? Like our entire lives are experienced in this completely subjective world that has no physical location. That's
Your
all
intentions
we
are
exist
never how they pan out.
They're never how we pan out. And also, like, we live in a world that is completely fictitious in its own way. Like, it's not, you can't locate it. You can't locate where you live. We live in a completely subjective world. Rob goes again and again back to this well. And one of my favorite songs in the world we haven't gotten to, I think, deals with this better than anything else. And I won't talk about it any more than that. But that vast gulf between what's outside and what's inside. And that what's inside is all we can really experience, but it's completely ephemeral. and you can't find it on any map. And yet it's all you have. It's all that is. And then, of course, that great bit of the great gag of, and if you see a head, meaning either forward or the future or a head,
somebody's head,
then you're missing your behind, which is your past or your ass,
or your rear
right?
end.
Like what a beautiful, funny, fantastic philosophical pun. Right? Like, this is the kind of song I could imagine playing for a room of like drunk philosophy students, and they just be busting their asses off if they listen carefully at how cleverly worded this shit is about some deeply ontological concepts in its own way. And then we get to the next verse. I know it sounds like I've already talked about the whole song, but I haven't. The next verse, which iterates on that theme of planning ahead, but this time he's showing up to the airport ready to take a trip, but he has a weird feeling and he has a dream about an albatross, and the albatross, as any of us known who studied the Rime of the Ancient Mariner from junior high or high school, whenever you read it, by Coolidge, is a deep omen of doom. So the albatross is a deep symbol of doom and destruction, and especially if it's dead or killed. But in this sense, I'm just going to pick it as a nice compact image of doom. So he has this presentiment of doom. Why? Who the fuck knows? But then what happens? Oh, the plane crashed and everyone died. So we had this fleeting vision of an albatross, this symbol of doom and destruction. And then what do you know? The plane died. So thank God he wasn't on it.
Right.
So here's this pretentious feeling of doom giving him a presentiment of what really happened. Was that real? I don't know, right? Like, I'm sure Rob doesn't think it is, but all of us, even if we believe it or not, we live in a culture, in a society where that's at least something we contend with, that belief in others, the idea that you can somehow feel or know the future. So we have this first verse where he's just looking outside and thinks he knows the future, and he doesn't. This next verse where he's having a pretentious feeling or dream about the future, and it through the symbolism ends up being true. I don't think Rob is saying that it really is, but interesting that he takes those two kind of tines on the fork right next to each other. And then we've got this last verse with the guy facing death. Finds out he's got cancer, takes a pill, going to kill himself, right? Says a quick prayer, and then that fantastic line of learning that when he walks into the light, his head is up his own ass. The world is in his colon, and he's been living up his ass, which is a great way of kind of twisting the knife and just saying, like, yeah, man, we're all just living our own subjective fucking worlds. In the end, that's all you've got. That's all you have is what's inside your own fucking ass, what's inside of yourself. But it's such a great fucking punchline, and the great way that he delivers it is so fucking funny. The gravity of the message contrasted against the hilarity of the delivery and the music and how unserious the music sounds. It's just great. I mean, I don't know what other band but NoMeansNo could pull this off, to have
exactly right.
To have a song that if you don't really listen to it, just sounds like it reminds me of a Dr. Demento song. And if you guys ever listened to Dr. Demento back in the day, but this could have easily been on replay on that show back in the day. An incredibly fun little ditty with a stark but strikingly real message. I love it. Fucking great. All right, Michelle.
Yep, and I'll be the one talking about the music because I didn't listen to any of the words, but yeah, Dr. Demento. Okay, NoMeansNo with a ukulele. This is 99 bottles of beer on the wall gone mad. This is a fucking riot, and I love the cheesy keys. The ukulele solo is hilarious, and Rob's delivery is just so funny, and I can't get enough of how much this song makes me smile. Near the end of set, will you do it again, Jordan?
sampled directly
last-
from a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Oh, but
Yeah.
the last
fucking good.
note that they do just makes no sense with the music that's happening at the time, and it's just so fucking funny. This song sounds like the band broke into a music store at 2 a.m. trying not to wake the neighbors.
Oh, that's great.
In a strange way, even this little wonder encompasses everything about the band that I love, and I could think it would be a perfect song to end their show.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hey, huh?
Nice.
Right there.
Nice.
Cool. I don't know that they ever played it, or I listen. Maybe. Not
Oh
aware
God,
of
it wouldn't
Never
be.
saw it.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
it be great?
Yeah.
Jeez.
They could even do an acapella probably with just John
Yeah.
doing some Foley work like they did on Forward to Death.
You got to have the ukulele though. There.
No,
That's
no,
the
you're
best
right. You're
part.
right. And even the
Ukulele's
keys,
a
all of
riot.
it.
I keep thinking
All right,
about all
Matthew.
the listeners thinking about how much you guys have talked about something that it's probably most people think of as a throwaway song, and I've got something that you guys hadn't even touched on. I didn't wrote down. I knew that you'd get into the time stuff, but I've discovered the last section where they say, "I don't want any more of our."
I wanted
army
you to talk
life.
about that. Yeah.
G-Mom, I want to go back to Ontario.
yeah.
G-Mom, I want to go
Yep.
home.
Go on, territory.
So that is a song which I didn't know very much about, but he's cribbed the meter and the structure of every verse in this song from that. And it's a song which was apparently originally sung by Canadian soldiers. And it was just something to kind of break the ice. So people in a really difficult, war is boredom interspersed with horror. And so it's just like it was a way to for soldiers to kind of easy enough to understand. They could make up their own lyrics. And this little song, originally sung by Canadian soldiers, got passed around the Commonwealth, the Commonwealth troops, and then the American various armed forces, and then subsequently as a camp song, and like the Scouts sing it. And it's a way to break the ice. It's a way to bring in outsiders because you can like make up your own verse. It's fairly simple,
yeah,
and everything
right.
like that, which is really fucking cool.
It is cool.
Leadbelly covered it in 1947.
No
nice.
shit.
Holy shit.
Which is certainly something that Rob would have been aware of, and he didn't use the Ontario line or any of that. But some of them was like, they say that in the army, the food is mighty fine.
Mighty fine.
The biscuits are very fine. One jumped off the table and killed a pal of mine.
Killed a friend of mine. Oh, I don't want no more of army life. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is, and that's where it's from.
That's great.
They say that in the army, the girls are mighty fine. We asked for Betty Grable, they sent us Frankenstein. Or like, they say that in the army, the money is really fine. They give us $50 and they take back $49.
I remember that line. Yes, I do. Yeah.
The penetration of this, though, is pretty interesting. I was like sort of reading through YouTube comments, and it's even in the Indian Army, which is a Commonwealth army as well.
Wow. Yeah.
And I found this. They stated in the army, the food is mighty fine. You ask for a biryani, and they serve you intestine. So great.
What was the one they say in the army? The beer is mighty fine. What was the beer line?
Turpentine.
It looks like muddy water and tastes like turpentine.
turpentine?
That's what it was. Yeah. Or no, that was coffee. It was coffee. The coffee in the army.
Well, it works with
tastes like
beer, too.
turpentine.
That's
Or
great.
whiskey. Yeah, I think I saw
Or
that one.
whiskey.
Whiskey.
Tastes like turpentine.
Guess you can't put ammonia in there.
Uh-oh.
Anyway,
hard to rhyme.
It's kind of nice that there's that callback that it's a sort of a silly song in a serious situation, but also something that's intended to make
that's
everybody
great.
feel camaraderie and inclusion. So there you go. It's like,
Excellent point, Matthew. That's excellent.
Great. That's great. All right.
Anyway.
Well,
a lot to say about more than I'd ever thought we that
Me
I thought
too.
about that song. Yeah,
me too. Listen, but there it is.
It's
but
a doozy. It's cool.
let's move on to this fucking song. Right now, we're gonna we're gonna listen to a bit of that song. Here you go.
A very precious little that escapes the powers that be. The eyes that judge the words that form our meager histories. But when your flood surrounds me, when the waters burst and come, who knows the things that I have felt? Who knows what I have done?
right. So, I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yep.
Come on.
Yep.
This
Yep.
song,
Yep.
first of all, one of the best openers from a band
Oh, yeah.
that is full of amazing openers. A
Hands
song
down.
that cements the idea right off the bat that 0 + 2 = 1 is Rob at the top of his lyric game. I don't know what fucking books he was balls deep in at this point, but this guy was snorting some grade A fucking philosophy and thought and spewing it back out at us. Holy shit. So I actually,
Oh man,
I
got
wrote-
it bad.
I got it bad for this song, man.
I know you do.
I wish I still had this. I don't have it anymore, but I wrote a paper about this song in college
What?
for a class on time and human consciousness. And they
cool.
wanted us to write a song about, or they wanted us to write a paper about, I think we read Thomas Mann's The Magic Mountain, which is a pretty good book. Well, that's a really good book, but they wanted us to write a paper about some piece of pop culture that had to do with time. And most everyone's was pablum, in my opinion. You had The Dark Side of the Moon get thrown in there, shit like that. But I put this one in there, and I think
Cool.
I remember my professor was like,
A+.
"What the fuck is this song?"
A+,
Anyway,
young man.
this. So I mean, again, this is one of my favorite NoMeansNo songs. It's not. I'm not gonna say it's my favorite, but it's one of my favorite. I love this song. One of my things I love about remembering about this song is I had this. I'll call him an acquaintance. I wouldn't really say he was a friend, but he was an acquaintance on my year going home from college back to my small town. And there was this guy who always had a lot of weed, so I hung out with him because he had a lot of weed, and that was a big deal back then because
And
you
you
couldn't just
wanted
buy
some.
it. I did, and he was really into country music, and I really wanted to play NoMeansNo, and he always wanted me to play this song. He was deeply into country music, but he loved this fucking song. He's always like,
Hey,
play that
cool.
song by that band. What's that song now? Play that song. And he fucking loved it.
Cool.
We'd get really high and just listen and listen and listen. So it's got a lot of crossover appeal. I think we've talked before about what songs we play for people that hadn't really heard NoMeansNo that much. This is absolutely, I think, one of the bangers you could play. It's got a lot of appeal, but it doesn't sacrifice any of the depth. It doesn't sacrifice any of the quality, right? I mean, not that they never do, but I think it's got a really broad appeal. So anyway, let's talk about the meaning first, and apologies if I go too deeply into this. And I have also found for myself that the songs I care about the most and have the most to say about, I'm least coherent about. So we'll just see if that holds true.
Leave us
So-
some honeyed confidence.
Yeah, I don't have any anymore. My confidence is waning as the weeks go on. So, a song about time. I've heard a lot of people in the past say this is a song about sex, which there's probably a bit of that in there, but I don't agree. Hard disagree. I love the fact that NoMeansNo can be interpreted so many different ways. So I'd love to hear a deep dive into that interpretation, but that's not the interpretation I'm going with, even though I think it comes up a little bit. But probably one of the most profound songs about time I've ever heard. So the poetry in this is unfucking real. Fuck time on Dark Side of the Moon, any of those other ones, downright pedestrian, in my opinion, poetically, in terms of how Rob phrases his ideas and his passion in this. It's just fucking amazing. So you got that first verse. We all know it, right? Now, if I had the courage, I'd pour into your jar. I'm just going to read it because we all have to hear it. Now, if I had the
couldn't
courage,
finish it. I
I'd
can't finish
pour into your jar all the things that I have heard you whisper in the dark. And when that jar was heavy with your honeyed confidence, I'd put it to my lips and drink its meaning and its sense. Fuck you. That is beautiful. Fuck you. That is so beautiful. And down to the idea, for me anyway, this is how deeply I dive into this fucking lyric. Jar, yes, that's something that we use to preserve things, right? But jar is also what they used, the canopic jars were what they used to put organs for the mummies in. When they would pull the organs out of mummies, they'd put them in canopic jars to preserve, to keep the viscera. The jars were what the Dead Sea Scrolls were kept in. They were these containers that held ancient wisdom. To put things in a jar has so much weight. It's not, I'd write them in a book or whatever. He says, I'll put them in a jar. And that just has that resonance that immediately made me go, fuck, this
Like he's
reaches
going
out
to
to like,
preserve it.
well, it's not just preserved, but he says that in a way that that resonates out to all these other I don't know, deeply historical and kind of esoteric meanings of
It's
what that
also
means
a
to
good
preserve.
word for the lyrics too.
It's
though.
amazing
Jar
for the
instead
lyrics.
cup.
Of course.
Yeah.
And this idea of taking everything that the person that you love the most, I would assume, right, from saying, whisper in the dark, the person that's lying next to you, whispering in the dark, those are going to be those secrets shared between two human beings. That's going to be the truths that maybe you don't say to anybody else. Those are those things that are deeply felt, but little said, little expressed. And this idea that you want to take all of them, collect all of them, and hold them in a container so that you can all at once drink it and understand the meaning and the sense of what you mean to this person and what this person means to you, rather than having to experience that as we normally do through our memory or through our future. It's like, no, how beautiful would it be to just be able to collect all of that, and in this moment, like the orgasm, like the moment of sex, where we physically feel that release of connection, what would it be to take all of that emotional connection and collect it into one fucking vessel and be able to just drink it all at once, like the fucking beer? I'm going to raise my glass to that and drink a little of this honey scent.
I signaled listeners, I signaled us for a little toast there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But that first verse is just so fucking gorgeous. And then moving right into it has no end. So let's pretend it's now. Time, as far as we know, has no ending and no beginning. We don't understand it, as I already said, and it really has no beginning or no ending. So to say we just have to pretend it's now. And one thing I forgot to mention that I wrote in my notes that I'm seeing, I love that the song starts with "now if I had the courage." So he uses the word noun. He uses the word now as a conjunction, right? So he's using now in all of its fucking forms. He's sure, as a poet, as Rob, and the smart guy that he is, to make sure to use that word in every form that it can be used. Anyway, so then we get to the second verse. This nothing could be plainer that things that have been done. I won't read everything out to you. Go back and listen to the song and read it, but. I mean, fuck it. I'm going to have to say some of the lines in this because they're just so beautiful.
Well, do it because I need it.
The clear description that he gives to how unknowable the only real moment that we can experience is now. The way that he describes this and how ephemeral it is, it should make all of you, all of us, come to attention and realize we have no fucking idea what the nature of our existence is, and that we take all of it for granted, but we really don't fucking know. It's now that howls at nothing. It's now that runs and hides. It's now that winds its spineless coils and slithers out of sight. The future doesn't really exist.
There's another snake in there.
The past is just, exactly. The past is just a memory. All that we really have is now, but you never actually experience now, ever. Mm-hmm. First of all, physiologically, our mind is milliseconds behind experiencing the moment. We're never actually experiencing our sense impressions in the moment of taking them in. We're always behind it. So even physiologically, we're never in the now. Psychologically, we're certainly never in the now. We are always obsessed with the past, or fearful or obsessed and dreaming about the future. We're never really attending to this moment. So not only physiologically are we never in this moment, psychologically we're never in this moment, and yet it's all that's fucking real for our experience. So how fucking weird is that? This is one of those songs
Is this a Buddhist thing? Is this Buddhist stuff?
No, it's not just Buddhist. This is, there's part of that, but this is just a deep part of all. Even Western philosophy has contended with this question for millennia, going all the way fucking back. It's just a mystery of being a human being. It's one of the primary mysteries of being a human being. So then there's this line that may have a little to do with sex, or, slightly. Your cries above the furrow draw my fingers like a plow, which,
What's
first of all,
that have to do with sex?
Well, a little bit. It makes me feel, first of all, the furrow is like the grooves, and the cries above the furrow. The reason I think about this is because I feel like there is the sense that there's the exploration of time in relationship, right? Of that's one of the frames he's using. I'm, lying in the dark, listening to somebody, And there is that physical connection, the moment of orgasm, which can bring you into the moment physically, sometimes more than anything else. And so the cries above the furrow maybe bring me into the moment a little bit more than I might be otherwise. But it also reminded me of like,
right there.
yeah, right, exactly. It reminds me of like the grooves of a record that we all live in. But maybe those moments of passion have a possibility of bringing us a little closer together, a little bit into the moment. But I don't know, just like, I don't know. It's this song is so fucking
heavy. It's fucking heavy.
It's fucking heavy. And he's not content with just dealing with time. He deals with space when he talks about here. The here is blind and helpless. It strives against the dark. The now is a well of shadows where the world has come apart. Space and time being one thing, right? We've at least partially determined through some interpretations of physics that space and time are one thing. That space and being here is just as ephemeral as time. It's not real in any real sense. I mean, we feel like I'm sitting here in this chair rooted to the spot. I'm hurtling through space at tens of thousands of miles an hour, and that's gone in just a moment. I'm never really here. I'm never really now. But that poetry of saying it's the here is blind and helpless. It strives against the dark, just like the now that howls at nothing, the now that runs and hides. These are gorgeous ways to describe a deeply felt philosophical reality that I have no doubt Rob has sat and thought about endlessly. You have to have in order to craft
Meissner's corpuscles in his buttocks, really through a chemical reaction and then a physical chemical reaction, electrical impulse, the sensation of weight on his buttocks, like.
And realizing that all of that is still moments behind. All of that is still moments behind his experience of fucking any of that.
Yeah.
And then you've got this last verse where you've got, there's precious little that escapes the powers that be, the eyes that judge, the words that form our meager history. So this kind of casts it out to saying, mankind's constant attempts to catalog, understand the world, judge others, judge ourselves. That's what we do. That's what we're good at. We're good at building up these really intricate images, these frames of where we live, how we live, who we are, what you should be, what I should be.
Yeah.
But in the end, nobody fucking knows what's going on inside of me or inside of you. We cannot know. I can tell you, but how close? But how? I'm just pointing at the screen. Maybe I'm pointing.
I know you are here.
But how can we really know? And this is something I think Rob deals with perfectly. And I talked about this a lot with The World Wasn't Built in a Day. We can never really cross that gulf between what is inside and what is outside, what is in you and what is in me. That is a vast gulf that we can't cross. And I think the line that makes people more think that this is about I just gave it away. About sex and anything else is when he says the waters burst and come, right? This feeling that in the midst of sex, maybe there's this sense of presence, this sense of like being in the moment, but also the orgasm is something that we work for, we fantasize about, we dream about, we think about, but most of what we deal with an orgasm is also in the past or is in the future. It's something we reminisce about or we dream about, but very rarely do we either get to experience it or even when it happens, are we there attending to it really? We're probably still fucking off in our heads. But maybe as the French... Exactly. But maybe as the French think, it really is the little death and our only real possibility for getting right there in the moment and really, really being able to experience it, really being able to experience ourselves in that moment. But I am never stunned. I'm never not stunned, rather, by how erudite and beautiful the lyricism is in this song. It is fucking amazing. And you pair it with the music, which I haven't talked about at all.
Oh yeah. That's my department.
Which is just, I won't steal your thunder other than to say that it is so fucking rocking, almost rockabilly.
Yes.
And so it's not like you wouldn't listen to the music if all you listen to the music and go like, oh yeah, there's a deep philosophical treatise on the nature of time and being happening right now, right? You can sort of just like skate on the surface of it, but if you start to dip in, you're like, what the fuck
Oh,
is
hey now.
happening here? It is gorgeous. And speaking of time, I love the fact that it ends, it has a beautiful ending, and then starts right back up again and gives us another coda. I love that false fucking ending. I think it's beautiful, holographic in the sense, holographic in the sense that their best songs are, in that I think it makes a comment on what the song is talking about. And the fact that I'm anticipating it being an ending, but nope, you don't fucking know. You got to sit and listen and experience what's actually fucking happening, which is the song is going to continue. And then we'll give you a nice ending. But absolutely one of the top songs in the NoMeansNo pantheon, a gorgeous treatise on the nature of time. In my book, from everything I've ever heard, the best song, one of the best pieces of art on time that I've ever heard. A plus, Rob. Fucking hell, man. Fucking hell. All right, Strangey, you're up.
You expect me to follow you after that?
I don't know. Just
Jeez.
ignore that. Erase it.
All right, I
Talk
will.
about the music.
All right, I'll talk about the music. The little galloping guitar intro with Andy singing is the perfect layout for the colossal blast of what's about to happen. This is one of their most exciting intros. It's more on the cheerful side, yet it still gets you jacked that you're going to get your freaking mind blown. Right?
Hell
It's
yeah.
exciting and has you on the edge of your seat. You can't help but sing along to it. Half of my notes were on the intro to this song because I only write
It's
notes
so
on a
fucking
5x8 piece of paper, and half of my paper is filled up on the intro to this song.
Oh.
In comes John and Rob, with Rob playing this triplet riff. My ears adore this. The bass line after that is a inversion of a major chord, and it lays a great foundation for a belting and catchy song. Andy's guitar solo is stellar. The line "it has no end, so let's pretend it's now" perfectly pairs and segues into one of my favorite parts of this piece. And here it is. It's John hitting the crash cymbal on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Nice.
Do you know what I'm talking
I
about?
do. I do know what you're talking
Matthew,
about.
Yeah.
drummer Matthew, the 1, 2. It's just glorious. So fun and a complete banger. Yeah.
This song fucks for sure. This song absolutely fucks.
And yet, I don't know about I don't know about the sex stuff in this one. I think maybe, but that's like a down a ways like that.
I agree. It's low on the totem pole of Maslow's needs for this song for sure. I agree.
I think he's actually addressing now itself in quite a bit of it. Like when your flood surrounds me, when the waters burst and come, who knows what he's talking about now itself. It's just like this moment realization, like that you are in the here and now that happens so infrequently. I really wish that I'd noticed that this whole flood aspect, like little callback to Under the Sea.
Oh yeah, right.
Pretty good. This is maybe one of my close to number one in terms of my favorite, like enjoyable NoMeansNo songs, and definitely one of the ones that I would again, like you said, they didn't sacrifice any of the depth for maybe it's a little more accessible musically and maybe even conceptually for a lot of people. You can see it from a bunch of different ways. Let's get started now. Let's get going on the very, very surface level.
They probably opened up with this, and the crowd goes out of their fucking minds.
Yeah. But I mean, they count in. It's so like 1, 2.
Oh yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. It's so sweet, and like I love Andy's singing in the beginning. It's like it's just got a sweetness in it and a softness that he doesn't really demonstrate all that much, and a little bit country. It's the perfect first song. Maybe my favorite first song of any first song on any album, and this is definitely a contender for my favorite album of all. The bass line it's only repetitive. I love the changing of the vocals. It starts with Andy and then moves to Rob in a second. It's like I think the furrow rather than other things a furrow could be, is time itself. Like we're in that groove. That's where the seeds are planted. You move along it. But I'd never really connected until I sort of looked at the lyrics. Draw my fingers like a plow, through tatters ends that twist and bend about the here and now. So your cries above the furrow. So now is actually outside where you are, which is in this like pre-plowed, like in the soil, like a furrow, like a channel in the soil. You're sort of like looking up. You're in this groove. You're not paying
He's a
attention to much
farmer.
else.
He's
It's like
planting
soil on
seeds.
either side of yourself, and there's this cries above there through tattered ends of twists and bends. So there's just you're reaching out with your fingers to catch at the concept of now, of the reality of being in the present,
Right.
trying to catch on desperately to the now. Helpless against time. You can't get out of it. You only get little twinges of it. But then now itself is cowardly. It's now that howls at nothing. It's now that runs and hides. It's now that winds its spineless coils and slithers down the side. And that's maybe a reference to the snake, to Satan, to things that are bad, things that are counter to you. But the now itself is cowardly because it's always running away.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Can't
running
pin it down.
Hey.
It's ephemeral.
Yeah, totally. Let's see. Yeah, just the honeyed confidence of now. I love that way you were talking about how, how nice it would be to save it up. But I thought a little bit differently that you have no choice but to save it up. Like all you have is your memory. You sort of like get beyond it, and then all you have is to interpret. Like you experience it, you remember what you can of it, and then you sort of apply the present of the future to the past. If that makes any sense.
Apply the present to the future of the past.
The present of the future. Anyway, you got to save it up to drink it later because it's the only way you can experience now. The only way you can experience the
I
present.
think I understand what you're saying.
When it is the past in the future.
So make it good, is what he's saying.
Yeah, we basically can't live in the moment. We can't experience now. And you, Jordan, you talked about physiologically, and I have quite a background in cognitive science, cognitive communication, everything like that. All these like chemical reactions, like we're just biomechanical machines, and there takes time for a signal to get from one place to the other. And,
Yeah,
like little cells oozing open and closed, like chemical channels in your nerves. There's always time between something that happens. Like you never experience now right when it is happening. There's always a little bit of time before the pigments, the photosensitive pigments in your retinas can change and then send an impulse to your brain, and your brain sends an impulse to another part of your brain that gives some sort of understanding, and then sends to another section of your brain that where the language and the interpretation and memory and emotion and everything like that gets added on. It's like quite a long time, and a lot of stuff happens before you actually formulate something that's already passed.
exactly.
It's kind of kind of tragic in a way. Yeah, there is no now.
And yet it's all that is, and yet it's all that fucking is, right? I mean, in a way.
The invocation. I mean, like he's constantly talking to, let's get started now. Let's get started now. But you're doomed to fail.
Yeah.
Let's get started means let's get away from now. Which is like, anyway, brilliant.
Fucking brilliant.
Is this going to be on the test?
Andy managed to actually make his guitar solos snotty.
Yeah.
Good job, Andy.
But kick ass.
Oh, I know, totally. But it has that sort of snottiness that isn't in the singing, isn't in Andy's singing in this. Some of my favorite drumming, some of my favorite fills, especially when he
drumming's
restarts
great.
in the coda.
Yes.
I have tried so hard, and I actually can play that a little bit. Like
Nice.
just because it is at least not going to make me break my own arms. Yeah, I love Andy and Rob singing together. Doesn't happen all that often.
Right. More on this album. It happens. I think there's other songs too. There. I don't,
Yeah,
wait,
no,
wait.
it does. Maybe more so.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, a beautiful song, and one that I certainly return to and learn from. Yeah.
You know, not to break the fourth wall a little bit, but any of the members who eventually listen to this, fucking thank you for making songs like this. I mean, in all seriousness, all seriousness, thank you.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how much a song like this has meant to me over my life. And to
Helped
find
me.
songs helped me in my life and helped me to realize that one can contend with art and yet contend with really deep ideas that, anyway, just fucking thank you. That's it. End of story.
Because Andy's going to get back to us and say, no, it's about fucking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or just go like, yeah, I never liked this one very much.
Just went through the motions. It's all right.
That was great, man. All right. Well, I don't know that this is going to be that tough, but let's
it's a whole
let's
movie
vote.
in a song.
Oh,
well,
for sure. It's no. This is a Wittgenstein text. This is like a 7,000 page manual that Rob has managed to condense down into this beautiful bit of poetry. I mean,
Crash
fuck
cymbals.
it, man. Fuck it. This
Crash
guy,
cymbals.
you could publish these. I mean, they work better with the music, but you could publish these without the music. And I just cannot see people not at a high intellectual level reading this and
flipping
going,
out.
holy shit. So
Who is this masked man?
we're going to vote. And
Yes,
my vote, which is coming right now, it's a now.
That's right.
Good job.
It's now. Michelle, where are you at?
I want to vote third for a joke. Just I want to.
Okay.
No, go to Matthew right now.
We'll break tradition, I guess. And Matthew, what's your vote in the future? Because we're skipping Michelle's present.
I'm really glad I got to uncover all that stuff about the future is the past. Is a past, not the past.
Yeah.
Which we didn't talk about either. But no, it's got to be now. It's such a fantastic song. It's it's funny, it's deep, it's listenable, it's toe tapping, it's butt
It's the
shaking.
whole fucking package.
It's
the
all
whole
those things.
package.
And yeah, definitely for me, one that could easily be a contender.
This could go all the way.
it's
For
now.
sure, this could go all the way.
This is like
Ooh, interesting.
not a
No
contest,
doubt.
but I'm glad we got to talk about future as a past because probably
Me
not a lot
too.
of people
And
even
how
think
great
about
to-
it seriously. Yeah.
Yep,
What a
to
great
put it
pairing, right?
against that.
What a great
Yep,
fucking
yep.
pairing.
Yep.
I agree. Yeah.
All right, Michelle, what do you got?
Hey. Hey. Spell the word now backwards.
I love it. I love it. Well worth the wait.
What am I,
Well
8?
worth the wait. It's one.
Yeah.
For those of you too slow to catch on, it's one.
Now 1.
Nice.
Yes, I'm
Nice.
voting now. Jesus.
I mean, right?
Yes.
How could you not? Now, again, no
Gotta do
slag.
it.
Strange
No
announces a
slag.
palindrome.
For those of you
Yep.
who haven't taken The Futures of Past seriously enough, maybe you'll give it another listen because it deserves it. As much of a aside as it is for No Means No, maybe. It deserves to be taken seriously, but it's no now. It's no now.
No.
I'm glad
No
that now
now.
is one. I'm glad that Paradise is one. Paradise is now in the final
means now.
or semifinal, whereas Under the Sea, we've sunk to the bottom along with The Future is the Past, which is So Yesterday. Now we're going to dip into one of our favorite segments, ours and probably yours, I hope. Andy's. Get out your little thing. Where's my thing?
I had problems with
melodica.
it today, but
Well,
let
let's
me
see if it works.
Still
again.
a broken melodica.
Okay, all right, ready?
Yep.
Oh shit! It's broken. I was trying to play the fuck. Oh, I just shit the bed. I just shit the
now
bed.
it's Andy's correct.
It's fucking broke. I gotta open this up. I was trying to play the beginning of.
We're very sorry.
It's catching
Michelle
up.
did
I
her
was trying to
best.
play. It's catching up.
That's pretty good.
I can't
Nope,
play
it's
it.
not working. In any
I
event,
gotta open it up. That was awful. Oh my god! Can we do that over, please?
You know, it's kind of
hell
amazing.
no, I love
It
that.
just
Yeah,
shit the
you
bed.
have very specific, a certain set of skills to open that thing.
Yeah, I know I do. And I was practicing all day on how to play the intro to It's Catching Up, and I had it nailed down, and I blow into this thing, and nothing happens, and I just shit the bed.
That, my friend, is podcasting gold. And on that note,
No, it's
we're
not.
going to. It is.
It's
It's
turd.
always better when shit goes south than when it goes right.
All right.
Just ask anybody who
We're
plays
wrong.
D&D and you roll a 1. That's the best time. So Andy's correction. We got 2
Jesus.
songs. We're going to try to do 2 songs at a time so we don't run out.
God,
All right.
that
So
was awful.
here's Andy. Imagine that those dulcet tones at the beginning of now, and hear this in his voice. Long days. Robin Jong song. Typical early NoMeansNo song. A simple riff repeated, worked, and worked on. I feel a little funny writing about this as it was A, it was a 2-piece song, and B, Rob was meant to sing it. Alas, Rob got those nodules on his vocal cords and had to refrain from singing for a time, so it was decided that I would temporarily take over and take over the singing on some songs. I have to say that Rob could sing this way better than I ever could. Live, I was always flat or sharp. Something funny, I was shocked to discover after many years to find out how Rob was playing the riff. Without getting too technical, Robbie's vocal melody is in a minor key. The bass riff kind of isn't. G, B flat A G, F E D, C B A G G. I thought for ages he played 2 B flats. At least that's how I always heard it. I was wrong.
Well,
Sex Mad. One of John's best. The opening drums alone are worth the price of admission. Along with Dark Ages, Sex Mad really shows off John's strength as an arranger. On their own, and as demonstrated to Rob and me on his keyboard, the bass and guitar parts sounded a bit pedestrian. But, as often was the case with John, it all made sense when we learned how to play it and cranked it up. And his pounding keyboards in the chorus cleverly masked my less than accurate downstrokes. This song is filled with hooks, but to me it's the hiccup beat baked into the main guitar bass riff that stands out the most. I almost said bass. Like a lot of parts written on his keyboard, it was a fucking pain to play on guitar, but play we did, and it all worked out well.
oh, you.
Fucking great stuff. I'm assuming when he's talking about the singing of Long Days that was live, right? Because it's clearly Rob on the studio recording.
Yeah, yep.
But yeah, I can imagine playing live. Fucking another one that I've seen it. I've talked about how I've seen Long Days once with clearly post Andy Erickson. I never got to see Andy when they played Who Fucked Who. Also, just the 2 of them came out and played Long Days and Who Fucked Who, and then went into it. Amazing, these guys.
Yeah,
That was great shit. Great shit.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you as always,
Yeah,
sir.
call the number and leave us a message.
Oh, jeez.
Get your Dutch
jeez.
wife to tell me to fuck off.
Yeah, do it, Andy, do
What's the correct
it.
pronunciation of Zelder Z? All right, well,
Fuck
What
off.
did you say?
Fuck off.
do either of my lovely co-hosts have anything to say before I read us out?
Nah.
No, but I'm fixing my melodica this week.
Do it. All right, well, No Means No Things, produced and edited by yours truly, Jordan Flato, co-hosting and excellent podcast graphics. If you aren't seeing them, please get on Instagram, Twitter, or our Facebook group by Matthew Kowalik. They are truly a sight to behold and fun every week to see what they're going to be. Michelle Strangest is our third and clearly and avowed everyone's favorite co-host and official Foley artist. Thank you, of course, to No Means No for, first of all, being so fucking amazing, and for the use of stock taking as our intro and outro music. And as always, thank you to Andy for your corrections and support.
And to our listener submissioners.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If
and
you
to all
haven't
of
heard
our,
yours, just be patient. It'll come eventually.
do you know why? Because the future is the fucking past. So hang on. And just a quick admission, I am wrong. Because now you know there's a secret. So here we go. Is this going to be a? Is this going to be a? Is this going to be a dramatic?
Especially because I always have to really pee badly when this happens.
Well, don't
Is
pee.
this, no, he can't pee. He's got to wait. It's close. Is this going to be dramatic or not? So here's our first pairing, everybody. Are you ready? I have not fallen over in my chair, so that's at least one. There it is.
Oh, please tell me another doozy's in here. Huh?
This one's not. I mean, it's not a doozy, but
I don't know that first one. I don't think I know what that one is. I gotta look it up.
You'll. It's really, really good. It's really, 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 really good.
What's up? Huh. Okay.
I'll be the judge of that. Thank you very much.
Well, you better fucking say it's really, really fucking good. Is all I got to say. All right. And here is what I think is a really, really great set of songs. Enter. There we go.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can only see the first one.
Yep.
Oh,
you got
okay.
it.
Yeah.
You got the pairings.
Oh.
I'm looking forward to that one.
I
Looking
know
forward
my
to that
vote.
one.
I know my vote.
Well,
so kiss my ass.
But do you listen carefully again? And
No, no.
I think I know mine too. but
No.
We'll see.
No.
I think I do too. All right. Well, thanks everyone. You stuck around. Now, fuck off.